anything is communication. We assume that I have a lot of ability to learn. How do I get them to engage in books?
And interact,
That's their language. And really tapping into, all right, if the child is silent, what does that mean? She put her hand out and she pressed go. Many people wouldn't really think that was a big thing. But that was the first time she's like, I want more of the bubbles. I'm going to communicate, go, blow the bubble. It took 1.5 years to get that. So once the door opens, it's really beautiful to see. It just sticks with you.
Some people, they want to speak out, a voice to say anything, and want breaking barriers to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Breaking Barriers Media, where we spotlight voices, breaking barriers, and building more inclusive futures. I'm your host, AJ Jamal, and today we're diving into the world of communication access, something many of us take for granted, but for others, it can be a lifelong challenge. Joining us is a passionate and experienced speech therapist who not only helping individuals find their voice, but also reshaping how communities understand communication and inclusion.
Perfect. Well, welcome, Miriam. We have our experienced and passionate speech therapist, but alongside AJ and Alan. So thank you for joining us on our Breaking Barriers Media podcast. So let's start by getting to know you a bit more, Miriam. If you can tell us a bit about yourself and what led you to become a speech therapist.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'll try to keep the story short because it is a long story how I got here. But pretty much I started looking into speech therapy when my first job was actually an assistant for therapists. And ever since then, I fell in love and knew that that's where I wanted to go. So after many years at university and studying and juggling being an assistant, I'm here now. So that's kind of how I got here. And I guess what really got me into speech therapy is the power of communication and how rewarding it is to give someone that skill or at least enhance it as well. I think speech therapy is a bit unique in that it's an overlap of medical and therapy in one. So it's the part of the health field where you get to follow someone along in their journey, which is very rare. So being able to see everyone weekly, fortnightly, build that relationship with the family and the client, it's quite unique and very rewarding to see them progress. So I guess that's what got me here, and that's why I love the job so much.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. You know, it's good that you get to help someone with their communication, and happy for you. And now that we know that speech therapy is more than just articulation or language, it's about connection, access, and sometimes even dignity. What are some of the biggest barriers you've seen your clients face when it comes to communication?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I'll actually touch on the phrase you just said of more than just articulation or language. Often people, when they hear speech therapist, they think, stutters or speech sounds, which is totally what we do.
I was going to say that was me too.
But I don't actually do that very often. I haven't gone in that field. I'm sure it's quite enjoyable, but it just wasn't what I did. I'm in the world of disability, so I'm all about communication through alternative forms. So a lot of the clients I work with, if they do speak, it's very little, if at all. So that's my client caseload. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of barriers in that field, and trying to understand how to communicate with someone who doesn't communicate the way we do.
Especially on their first meeting, it would be.
So it is really interesting trying to understand your client. How do they communicate, if they have any verbal communication or understanding at all? And then a really big barrier that I often see is assumptions. I think assumptions is often what we see. We assume this person doesn't talk, so then we assume they don't have a lot of ability to learn, or that they're not very intelligent or any of that. And I think that's actually quite a dangerous assumption, because how will someone learn if you never teach them?
They're very misunderstood.
Yeah. And I have some individuals who don't talk verbally at all, and then you give them the communication device, and this happened the other day, and they told me the planets from the closest to the sun to the furthest.
Wow.
And I didn't know that, and then I googled it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they were telling me
knew the order.
the planets. I'm like, wow, that is so
impressive.
Yeah, impressive. So if I never assumed they could communicate another way, then I would have never known that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really good that you were able to pick that up just from, the communication equipment, is it? So,
It's like a little device. So it can be an iPad that has the app on it, but it looks like an iPad, and then it has all these symbols on it that they can learn to talk with. So
Perfect.
yeah, I definitely don't get it always right the first time, because I can't read the client's
Yeah,
mind.
absolutely.
But when we get there, it's so beautiful to see the magic happen and the doors open to communication. So yeah.
That's amazing what you're actually doing, and it's very powerful as well. So I imagine every success story looks a little different. And can you share a moment that really stuck with you when you saw someone break through a barrier they never thought they could? I could imagine this would be such a fulfilling moment.
Yeah, and I think this is what makes my job, these moments, and it's so hard to just choose one.
Oh, okay.
So I'll choose one, but it's hard to choose
Heaps
one.
of them, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not that it's heaps, but when you have that moment with a client, you remember it, because that was like, all right, we got there, we opened the door that we didn't quite think we could, and then you stuck to it, and it's a team effort. It's not just me. It's getting the family on board, the schools on board. So a moment that really stuck with me is this young girl, and this happened recently. I saw her about a year and a half ago. So just imagine this took a year and a half. I did a home visit, and I walked in the door, and this child was stacking plastic chairs and climbing on it, which was quite impressive. She balanced quite well. But the moment she saw me, she ran away. She has no verbal language, so no talking. The only way she communicated was through crying, which is really sad, and through taking her mum's hand to what she wanted. That was it. It is communication, but as you can imagine, she constantly was upset because she couldn't communicate what she wanted. And there was no interaction with me. I'd walk in the door and she would run, or she would cry, or she would slam the door. So that goal just moved to her building trust with me.
Yeah.
And I remember that first session, as I was about to leave, the mum told me, don't leave. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, okay, like the session's done, but if you need me to stay, sure. And mum's English wasn't very good, but what she was trying to say is don't leave, as in don't see her for a few times.
And then leave.
Yeah.
And then give up on her.
And apparently that had happened quite a few times, which was so sad to hear. And I was like, look, I'll be really honest with you. The goal right now isn't communication.
Yeah.
It's really for her to just even tolerate me in the room and just trust me to even engage. All right, so 1.5 years later, I've been seeing this girl every 2 weeks at home. Slowly built up the rapport, found the toys she likes. I was blowing bubbles, and I had the device I was trying with her.
Yeah.
She never engaged with it. And I would be ready, set, and then I'd pause. And then I'd press go. And then one time I was doing it, I was just blowing bubbles, pressing go. Wasn't even expecting it. And I said, ready, set. And she put her hand out and she pressed go. And many people wouldn't really think that was a big thing. But that was the first time she's like, I want more of the bubbles. I'm going to communicate, go, blow the bubbles.
She knew.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It took 1.5 years to get that. But I think that moment, Mum was super happy with too, because we got the engagement, which is why engagement is the most
very important.
And then I found something she loved, and then she was able to communicate it. And
that's so beautiful. That takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, it does. And I remember sitting in the car, and I called up my partner. I'm like, oh, hey, this kid just pressed this button, and he doesn't quite understand always what I do. He's like, she pressed the button. I'm like, no. She communicated. You don't understand. It took 1.5 years.
Massive.
Yeah, it is. And now she's pressing all these different buttons to communicate what she wants.
She's progressing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So once the door opens, it's really beautiful to see. It just sticks with you.
Good on you. That's really a beautiful story. I love the story. It shows how much potential unfolds when people are given the right tools and support.
So as a therapist, your role doesn't stop in the clinic, right? You're often a fierce advocate too. And this is where I actually want to know a little bit more. How do you work to support clients beyond direct therapy, whether it's in schools, community spaces, or workplaces? Now, I mean, I only see you here and there. And that's how I knew you have got a really crazy schedule.
Yes, yeah.
So please elaborate with us,
All right, sorry. Where do I start with this? So our role isn't just sitting with the client doing work. It is so much more beyond that, because I can only see the client, and this is due to huge complexities of huge wait list. I only really see a client for 45 minutes every 2 weeks. So that is not very much. So I need to be able to also take on the role of coaching everyone else around them to do what I'm doing, to make sure they're getting more modeling and understanding and all of that, and setting up the environment. And then what often happens is we recommend something that's quite new. So these devices, they're a whole new language for people.
Okay.
But it's their language. And then what I often see is, and it's completely understandable, there's a lot of encouragement for verbal language with these kids, which I understand. It's the way we talk.
Yeah.
But we should be accommodating the way they talk.
We need to understand them.
Yeah, so there's a lot of advocacies when I go into schools or workplaces and all that. It's like, hey, look, they have a communication difference, and we have to accommodate that, not them accommodating
us.
So that's a huge role I do, setting up the environment with visuals, wearing visual lanyards, or whatever way it is, keyword signs.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is so much. And I think my role is more than just beyond with the client. There's only so much I can do there. You can do heaps over time, but it's really about, all right, I need everyone on board. This is a team effort. And then that's my big role. Yeah.
That is really good. Yeah, how do you like that, AJ?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the next question.
And when it comes to inclusion, especially for people with disabilities, what do you think schools or employers are still getting wrong, or maybe just overlooking?
I think that's a really great question, because if we think about the disability sector for the last 2 or 3 decades, there wasn't even any inclusion. So now we see the NDIS and mainstream schools being inclusive, but I think the current impression of being inclusive is just having them in the room. And I think we need to now work on, all right, great, we're being accepting of individuals with disability in the classroom and in the workplace, and so we should be. But then how do we also get them to participate? So I will do classroom observations. That's one of my jobs.
Okay.
I'll go in there and see how the kid is doing in the classroom. And often what I see is there'll be mat time, but the child's allowed to sit at the back of the classroom with their device, with their one-on-one support teacher aid. And they'll do an activity like the preps do like a what's your name in the morning. And everyone does that, but because the child doesn't speak, they're in the classroom. They're in where the activity is, but no one's really going to try include them because they're like, oh, they can't say their name.
Yeah.
And I think what then happens is like, all right, we've got them in the classroom, so let's get them to participate in the activity that's inclusive for them. They can put their name on the iPad and press that, and then maybe everyone can do that on the iPad. I think it's about also, that idea of not getting them to do what everyone else is doing, but maybe getting everyone to engage with them the way they do.
That they do.
And it might need a little bit of tweaks, and I know it's really hard understanding how to do that sometimes.
Because not everyone is the same, eh? They all have a different way of...
Yeah, and that's what makes it complex.
Yeah,
so I can imagine these teachers who, a lot of the mainstream school teachers don't have training in disability, and they're like, I've never seen this before, I don't know what to do, I'm trying my best. It's not their fault, but it is really nice to see that when I let the teacher know the ideas, how on board they are, and then to come in the next couple of weeks and check in again and to see them part of the mat time and see them engaging in the activity. So I think inclusion needs to be taken that step forward, but I understand it's so hard without support from someone who understands the way they communicate, why that is often being overlooked.
Oh, that's great.
That's really good point to know. Now, I understand that you've recently developed something exciting. That's a new business tool or a resource to support individuals with communication needs. So can you tell us more about it and what inspired you to build it? Who exactly you designed this tool for?
So this is very exciting for me.
Me too, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I know. I'm actually. This is a lot that I'm learning here just today. So,
So I'll try to keep stay calm, but I've spent so long on this, and I've really put so much effort into it. And I might start off with the logo.
yes, please.
So this is the little logo at the back here. So little visual voices, and as you can see, it's an eye.
Yeah.
So I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
And there's a microphone in the eye. So the little microphone in the eye is supposed to be the voice through the eyes, through visuals. So
That makes sense. It's the eye and the microphone, which things you can see and then
That's very powerful. I didn't realize. I was looking at your lanyard. I was like, oh, okay, it's just visual.
Yeah.
Then you're saying microphone. I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of the idea. And when I was building, I'm like, this is perfect. This is what I'm going to do.
How long did it take you before you found the right logo?
Guys, I'm a perfectionist, so you would have seen me. I designed this myself. So
Did you?
Yeah, this is my
awesome.
logo I designed, and I was just...
Well done.
Oh, thank you. I really wanted to show that it was through visuals.
Yeah.
And then about how I wanted the logo to be really meaningful. So whenever I showed my family, I'd be like, oh, look. And they're like, oh, it looks like an eye. I'm like, no, wait, there's a microphone in it. So, and I think that the reason I love the idea of eyes and visuals is that that's actually the way all kids learn. So these resources are designed for anyone. And that kids are visual learners, individuals with disability are visual learners, so anyone can benefit. And I guess the reason I started this is when I would look online for these resources.
Yeah.
They were quite generic resources, great, but there was nothing in there that was specifically designed
For
someone who doesn't talk.
yeah.
I would go in and read books with these clients and they loved it, but they would grab my hand to read the words. I'm like, all right, how do I get them to engage in
Engage and
books?
interact. Yeah.
That's their language. So these visuals I have here, this is set number 1 on Many to Come, has the visuals that they would have. Yeah. So they're very familiar with this.
That's awesome.
So they actually says the word when you click it. So it's a sound book. Oh, maybe I'll explain the title first.
Yeah. Ronnie's red car, please.
Ronnie is my partner's name. You should have seen his
He must be so excited.
Must be proud.
I know.
Well, when I showed him the book, I'm like, do you want to see the look at the book? He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, who's Ronnie Rabbit? And I'm like, oh yeah, just letting you know, you're the main character. But yeah, so that's named after my partner.
Oh, shout out to Ronnie.
Yeah, hi Ronnie.
With his cool red car.
I know.
Yeah, he's cool. He's into cars as well, so it all ties in.
Makes a lot of sense now.
Does he have a car like that in real life?
No, he doesn't. I wish he did. Maybe we'll get one.
I was gonna say.
That would be taking it too far. I think he wouldn't be tolerant of that. But going back to the book, there's the book in there with the symbols.
And they,
And
that
then
is
they read along and they
amazing.
can click. So Ronnie Rabbit, Tilly Turtle.
That's so good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thought that was put into
oh my
this.
goodness, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And then the extra layer of this is we have a bit of a principle in speech pathology that we have to be really selective in the words we teach.
Okay.
So if I had the word apple in here, well, they can only use the word apple when they want an apple. So the words we teach is common words. 70%,
that they can use.
Yeah,
Right.
70% of what we say is 300 words, and they can be used across any context.
Yeah.
So imagine the word like finish. You can say you're finished with your apple, you're finished with eating, you're finished with sleeping, finished with I don't know, playground. All of a sudden, you've opened the door to communication in any context.
That's so good.
That's why I've chosen the words I have, and I'm going to keep building them up with those sets of words slowly. So
Cannot wait to see more of these come out. That's
I
great.
can't wait, honestly.
You're doing such an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. They're all in production as we speak. But I do have a few other things like the visual lanyards with those same words, storybook boards so that they can point to the pictures.
Okay.
For like the very hungry caterpillar, some generic ones that they can just put on the fridge. So they're really, again, those general words. If they aren't, that they're not soundboards, but we can say it for them. Oh, yes.
At
no.
least we're one step closer
Yeah.
to understanding what they actually want, which is great.
You have that at the fridge, and the child will just go and point.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah, it is, which is really good, man. That's amazing what you're doing.
Then the other product I made is kind of a general one, but I wanted to make, a lot of parents ask me, oh, what is my kid expected to do at 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
So I was like, let me make it really easy. Let me make a little milestone book. And then I have the little instructions on each page, and like this is colors with the sentence they're supposed to use. And then they just do the activities and learn the colors, and it's like, all right, this is the first act, like they're supposed to know shapes. Plurals S, so they're supposed to say like 2 apples. But it's like, all right, how do you want to target your kids' communication milestones in a really like a way?
Really good.
Yeah, so
It's basic, it's
That's
simple.
awesome.
oh, thank you. Yeah. So I put a lot of effort into it. I try to ensure this is useful for everyone, and it's the first launch of many. So yeah.
Cannot wait.
So these are like the prototypes.
Yeah, so they are the prototypes. As you can see, this is off-centered. We fixed that. So this was the sample of it. But it was little things like being off, like not in the middle, or this is
that's
a bit too heavy.
perfect.
But like they've all been fixed up and getting made as we speak.
Geez, not too heavy. So
Yeah.
you've gone to absolute detail.
Yeah, you should,
I'm like,
you should get
No one
that
would have
jealousy,
thought
yeah.
like that.
yeah. Well,
Should get that. It's gonna be in a museum one time.
I know.
Because that's really big innovation in communication.
Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
is.
I hope so. No one else really has done this, so I'm just like, oh, let me give it a go. Let's see how it goes. Because I honestly, if I was like, you know what, I'm going to use these in my sessions in therapy. And I'm going to give them to the parents, so we'll see how it goes.
No, that's perfect. We'll head it on over, eh, AJ?
Yeah, that's amazing. How can people access this, as whether it's families, educators, or other professionals, and what kind of response have you gotten so far?
All right, I love this question. In terms of accessing it, the website is not live, but you can follow me on Instagram for when the website will go live. I don't want to release the website when none of the products are ready to be ordered.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I want
That's
to
the
make
smart
sure.
thing to do as well.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something, get it right the first time,
Yeah,
eh?
exactly. Yeah. And I want to make sure it's perfect and easily accessible and clear. I don't want people to go on the website and it's like pre-order. Like,
Yeah,
we have to wait
then
so
you have to
long.
wait.
Yeah. But you can follow me on Instagram, and it should be within the plan's 30 days.
Okay.
So within 30 days, we should have the website ready to go. I actually invite everyone to send me DMs. I love getting them on my Insta, and the little questions and asking me about why I did what I did. And it's really nice to see people reach out. I've actually been really surprised by the response. So within the first week, it was like 250 followers. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. I was
That's
like, whoa.
awesome.
There's people out there who are really interested in this.
Eager.
Yeah. So it's been a great response, and I can't wait to see what it's like once I actually can provide it to the public.
Awesome. So guys that are listening, the name of her Instagram is gonna be on the description down below. You can shout out your Instagram.
Perfect.
And then before we wrap up, I want to ask, what's the one thing you wish more people would understand about communication disabilities?
So I've touched on a lot today.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
I've learned so much.
So educative. I like this.
I'm so in awe of your work you've done right now.
I love it. So you've told me one thing, and it's just like, oh, one thing. But
Could be one, could be two.
It could be two.
look,
Yeah.
I'll keep it short. I think I've stated quite a few things. So if I have to end on anything, it's that anything is communication. And really, really tapping into, all right, if the child is silent, what does that mean? Their gestures. And it's just, we need to understand everyone's communication differences, and that any form of communication is acceptable, and that we have to accommodate that, because that's what families and educators should do. So, yeah.
No, that is great. Do you want to ask the next question?
Yes, please. Such an important reminder for any speech therapist out there, or people who want to support communication equity. What advice would you give them?
Great question. So,
Yes.
recently I've been supervising new graduates, I've been training university students. So they often ask me these kind of questions. And often what I'll tell them is build rapport. Be kind, be patient, and then everything else will follow.
Place.
If you jump straight in there with your goals and try to do this and you're not going to get very far. We need that trust. And I think it's kind of letting go a bit, because all speech therapists I've noticed are like, all right, let's get some things done. I'm like, no, rapport is first and foremost.
Yeah.
And if we get that done, then it's more enjoyable as well for everybody. Just respectful. And if you can get that done, then I think you're on your way to being a great speech therapist.
That is really good. Yeah, it is. Have you learned a lot from what Miriam has shared so far, AJ?
Yes,
Yeah, you've enjoyed it.
I enjoy what she's doing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really great.
Speech therapy is very unique, and I think people
It is.
don't know it. And
We
it's
overlook it,
Yeah.
to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It's something that I didn't realize how much work that is getting put in. I just want to take the opportunity, though, just to say thank you so much for sharing your insights.
having me.
Miriam, and the experiences that you've had with us today. Your work is not only changing lives, but it's also opening doors. And something that I wanted to add on, the thing that I really enjoy about your story and your journey is that you've seen the complication, but you didn't stop there. You didn't actually limit or, let it be a barrier that's going to stop you. You've gone beyond. You've actually heard, or you've seen, and you've listened. But then you've actually created a solution, and that's right here, like little visual voices. Is it little?
Yeah, it is little.
I got it right.
Yeah.
I got it right. And that is amazing. Like I can't believe that this whole time I didn't even know this is, now that I've actually sat here and I've listened to it, that is really great what you're doing, honestly. And cannot wait for once everything is released and, finalized. I'll definitely be looking this up again.
And thank you so much for having me on and listening to what I had to say.
Absolutely.
And, shout out to FBA Care as well.
Perfect.
For just being on board. I see a lot of clients, one of the adults in the day program, and everybody in the team is so on board supporting their communication and the strategies I have for them. So it's a team effort, like I said, and FBA has been a great team to work with, and I love it here.
No, that's absolutely fine. Like, to all our listeners, we hope this conversation has sparked reflection and action in your own circles, whether you're in education, employment, or just everyday life. We just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to Breaking Barriers Media, our podcast. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review if this episode spoke to you. Wanted to say thank you to AJ as
Pleasure.
for hosting us today together with Alan, and please, a massive thank you to you, Miriam, our very experienced speech therapist. Until next time, everyone, stay curious, stay kind, and keep breaking those barriers. Yeah.
Peace, guys.
I love it. We did it.
We did pretty good on time.
we did. And I think
Smashed
that went
it.
very smooth. Guys, we are a
Smashed
great
it.
team.